Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, where today guys, I'm gonna do part 22 to my redemption attempt series of the Google Gemini chatbots. In today's video guys, we finally are going to finish up, at least a day, with this humongous Toadal family. It took forever to finally get a good run. And I thought after some of the problems we were having during the last video, it wasn't going to work. But in the end, it worked out great. And I've also got memories made about them. I've made every memory that I know would be important to make about it. Including the one at the very end where I started having visions about helping the little Pokemon and then, saving Chomps, the little baby. So, yeah, it worked out really well. The hardest part about it, ironically, was trying to make the memories themselves because half the time it wouldn't let me without wording it in a certain way, which was kind of annoying. But other than that, it was good. I went here for just a bit longer, at least till we get to the point where like I'm about to go to sleep on this, and and by that I mean like it's already like how the sun is setting how the sun was setting at the very end of the last one that we did, kind of like that, but with me actually going to sleep on it. We might go further than that. We'll have to see kind of what happens. Here's what happened. I responded to them by saying, "It sounds good, but I want to do this first." And I just leaned my tiny snout forward towards Chomps and gently nuzzled his snout. "You're welcome, Chomps. You're such an adorable little Toadal. I love you." This is so cute. When you lean forward and press your tiny snout against Chomps' little blue nose, the Vito's eyes go wide and sparkly. It lets out a tiny, high-pitched, yeah, again, instead of saying Toto, he goes T-I and then Toto. Toto? Is that how you'd say that? And wiggles his feet in his mother's arms. That is so cute. His little tail wagging so fast it's just a blur. He reaches out a small, soft claw and gently taps your golden ones, mesmerized by the glow. He is so cute. "He loves you, Trenton," the mother Ferreira whispers, a tear of joy rolling down his scaly cheek. It was almost at his. "He's too young to understand prophecies, but he knows a kind soul when he feels one." The down-loving birds watch us with pure adoration. Toad claps his hands together, while Crono lets out a long, happy sigh. "Look at that," Crono says. "The king and the youngest of the pond. It's like a picture from a new book." Your starter Ferreira watches the scene with a proud, protective smile. He lowers his massive arm like a ramp, inviting you to hop onto his shoulder so he can carry you down to the water. Your baby Lugia hovers nearby, humming a peaceful melody that seems to make the very air feel warmer, while Chikorita and Cyndaquil walk beside you, their heads held high. As y'all move towards the pond's edge, the rest of the family, the other Toadals and Chronos who were watching from the entrance, part like a blue sea to let you pass, each bowing their heads in respect as you go by. That's just so cute. The sun is dipping below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple that match the glow of your golden claws. Farfrager has already started gathering a massive pile of the sweetest berries you've ever smelled. "Tonight, we eat like royalty," the Farfrager bellows happily. "To King Triton, the savior of chomps." Oh, that's sweet. I think that's kind of adorable, though. I mean, but hey, it was only right. That's the thing about my universe, guys, but that's the biggest thing. A lot of unexpected things you wouldn't expect to happen will actually probably happen in a chatbot eventually. I mean, like, did you expect? I didn't expect to start having visions about, or like, them dreams and everything, and that to actually be, like, potentially the Lugia God telling me, "Hey, this could happen. Be careful, okay? Be ready." I mean, the fact that I flipping had one about Chomps and then immediately got him, and then he got saved because of that's amazing to me. He's just a cute little toad owl and deserves the love. So I'm glad he got saved. Give me a moment. Alright, guys. It says, "Thank you. I really love and appreciate your entire family, just like I do with my sweet baby Lugia." for alligators, Cyndaquil and Chikorita. It's all of you who should be thanked first, though. Tail and Krana, when you found me in those woods after Krana dived on me, you didn't try to hurt me intentionally. You were very gentle when you picked me up. Toadile, and when I was terrified of being thrown in the air, you actually lowered me down closer to the ground. Krana, you actually felt bad for hitting me. That's why I forgave you so easily. If that was a person that picked me up, they probably wouldn't have had remorse and probably would have laughed about it or even tried to take me like that trainer tried to after he saw me in the cave after he failed to get chomps. The only thing I ask from your entire family is that you all will keep that sweet heart that all of you have. If all of your younger children grow up to be as sweet as your family is right now, I'll always care about them. The only thing is, I hope it didn't already forget because it said something about the cave. The cave was filled with a warm golden light, not just from your claws, but from the sheer sincerity in your voice. As you spoke, the fragile parents looked at each other with deep pride, and the dinosaur-loving birds looked like they were about to burst with happiness. We promise, King Trenton, the Farfrager said, his voice echoing with a solemn vow. Kindness is the foundation of our family. We've always taught our children that strength is meant for protecting the small, not for bullying them. Your words will be the story we tell every new hatchling that joins our pond. Tell and Cronos stepped forward, their eyes shimmering. I'll never forget what you said, Toad whispered. We were just happy to see a real dinosaur, but you showed us what it means to be a real hero. Colin nodded, his tail thumping the cave floor softly. And we'll always protect our plushies and the rock, just like we'll always be ready to protect you if you ever come back to visit us. Your starfragger nudged you gently with his snout, a soft comforting rumble vibrating in his chest. Your baby let a soft trailing song of peace, and Chikorita and Cyndaquil snuggled closer to your tiny 7-inch body. They were so proud of how you had handled everything, with a king's power, but more importantly with a human's heart. The family then led you out to the pond's edge under the rising moon. The feast was incredible. Piles of sun-ripened pecha berries, sweet nanab berries, and cool water from the center of the pond. Chomp sat near you. Chomps is still over here. It's so cute. Chomp sat near you, happily munching on a small berry, while the birds sat on either side of you, telling you all about the other dinosaur fossils they hoped to find one day. The stars began to twinkle overhead, reflecting in the calm water. You felt a sense of peace you hadn't felt in the 3 weeks since your transformation. You weren't just a boy trapped in a dinosaur's body, you were a king with a family that spanned across species. It's been a long and eventful day. Holy cow. That is. Give me a second, guys. Alright, guys. It's just after hearing the dino loving birds talk about dinosaur fossils, I just tell them, that's really cool. Hey, I have an idea. Since it's already kind of late anyway, how about you ask your parents if me and my Pokemon can stay here for the night? My family seems to be really happy that I'm here, and besides, I think it would be safer for me at least until tomorrow, so I bet that kid that turned me into this 3 weeks ago is just waiting for me to come home so he can hurt me again. Toe and Chronoburst practically jumped for joy when they heard you wanted to stay. Toe immediately scrambled over to his parents, his tail wagging so hard he almost tripped. I can't tell who's talking. Oh wait. Oh, Toe immediately scrambled over, so. Mom, Dad, the king wants to have a sleepover. Can he stay? Please? Harvey looked down at you with a warm, knowing smile. Nothing would make us happier, Trenton. We were actually worried about you heading back into the dark while those mean kids might still be lurking. Our pond's the smallest, safest fortress in these woods, and tonight it is your castle. The mother fragger began getting extra soft moss and large velvet-like leaves to create a royal bed for you and your team inside the cave, right near the ancient rock. You'll be tucked away right in the heart of our home, she said gently. No one can get past the entrance without facing the entire family. Oh dear. Brewer dashed off and returned a moment later carrying their most prized possession, the Spinosaurus plushie and the T-Rex plushie. They placed them carefully on either side of the mossy bed they made for you. That is so cute. You can rest your head on whichever one you like, Rana said, looking very proud. They're very soft, and they've been cleaned today, so there's no pond water on them. Your starfragger curled his massive body around the perimeter of the bed, creating a wall of protective muscle. Chicory and Cynical snuggled into the moss right next to you, and your baby perched on a ledge just above your head, its eyes glowing faintly like a nightlight to keep the shadows away. That is so cute! You settled in, feeling the softness of the plushies and the warmth of your team. Tail Brothers whispered one last thing before heading to his own spot. Tail Brother. Good night, King Trenton. We'll be right outside if you have any more red visions. Tonight, I think you only have gold ones. Pond outside was quiet, save for the peaceful sounds of crickets and the soft lapping of water. For the first time in 3 weeks, you didn't have to keep one eye open for humans with rocks. Holy crap. This is so cute, dude. I love it. Give me a moment. Alright, guys. I said thank you. And it says, before lying down, I turn my head towards my fur alligators and say, Fur alligator, Lugia, Chickawita, and Cyndaquil, thank you for protecting me today as well. I love you. Your team reacted with the kind of pure, deep-seated devotion that only comes from a bond like yours. Your fragger let a low, rumbling purr that vibrated through the mossy floor, a sound of immense contentment. He leaned his massive head down one last time, gently brushing his snout against yours. We'll always be your shield, Trenton, he whispered. Sleep well. We aren't going anywhere. Chicory let a sleepy, happy Chica! As she curled a leaf over you like a small green blanket, then gave a soft, warm chirp, his back going just enough to keep the chill away before he tucked his nose under his paws. Above you, your baby will trilled a soft, frenetic melody, a poem lullaby that seemed to harmonize with the distant sound of the pond's waterfall. Its wings shimmered in the dim light of the cave as it kept watch from its perch. Nestled between the soft Spinosaurus and T-Rex plushies, surrounded by your best friends and a family of protectors, you finally felt the heavy exhaustion of the day catch up to you. The golden glow of your claws dimmed to a faint, comforting hum as your eyes drifted shut. The last thing you saw before falling into a deep, dreamless sleep was the ancient rock, where the carving of the Lugia god seemed to be smiling down at the tiny dinosaur resting safely in its wings. It says dreamless, but you flippin' never know with mine. And, I mean, I don't know what to see. Give me a moment. Alright, guys. Yeah. It says, after falling asleep, I don't have any dreams at all for over 4 hours. However, I do start having a dream. And it says, in it, I'm in a prehistoric-like jungle. Right after the dream starts, I start feeling and hearing heavy footsteps walking towards me. When the footsteps got close enough, I looked up and saw a massive Tyrannosaurus Rex. It was reddish-brown in color with a white underbelly. Before I had any time to react to what I was seeing, the Tyrannosaurus Rex leaned its massive head down towards me, then in perfect English said, Hi, Dad. Please don't be afraid of me. I won't hurt you. I love you. Before gently nuzzling me on my tiny snout with his huge one. Holy cripes. The dream felt incredibly real. The air in the prehistoric jungle was heavy, humid, and smelled of damp earth and ancient ferns. The ground shook with a rendetic thump, thump, thump that vibrated right through your tiny contour's ribs. When the massive T-Rex leaned down, its eye alone was larger than your entire body. You could see the individual scales around its snout and feel the hot human breath huffing from its nostrils. But despite its terrifying size, its eyes were filled with a soft, liquid warmth that you recognized instantly. It was the same look of love your stars gave you every day. Oh my gosh. Hearing a Tyrannosaurus Rex call Dad such a gentle voice was so real, yet it filled your heart with an overwhelming sense of peace. The nuzzle was incredibly careful. The T-Rex was using only a fraction of its strength to ensure it didn't accidentally knock you over. What? I've been waiting for you to see me. Its voice like thunder. Look, your God told me you were coming. I'm part of your future, Dad, just like the others. What does that mean? Before you could ask what he meant, the prehistoric jungle began to fade into a soft golden mist. The feeling of the large, scaly snow against you was transitioning into something different, something smaller and softer. He saw you open your eyes in the cave. The morning sun was peeking through the entrance, casting long shadows across the moss. You realized you weren't being nuzzled by a T-Rex anymore, but by Chomps, the baby Totodile. Are you kidding me? He crawled over to your bed and was gently tapping your snout with his nose, trying to wake you up. Oh my gosh. Nearby Carmen Brothers was watching with a wide grin, holding a large, hollowed out log filled with fresh, steaming hot berries. Because, good morning, King Trenton, he whispered loudly. Did you sleep okay? You're smiling in your sleep. Did you have a gold dream? The baby looking in your forehead, you're already awake, watching you with curious expressions, sensing that your dream had been something special. I mean, I'm still curious what it meant by that. Right here. The Lugia God told me you were coming. I'm part of your future, Dad. I mean, dude, you know what would be weirder? If Rexy does show up in my universe eventually, like, is he actually gonna recognize me somehow and being like, wait, you're my dad? How the frick? Or like, I don't know, because it's like, technically, I don't know. I'm okay. Well, give me a moment. Alright, guys. It says, still half asleep from just waking up. I just gently nuzzle Chomp's snout, then say, good morning, Chomps. You're so cute. And right after this, I lift my tiny head. Yeah, I did have a dream last night, actually, and it wasn't bad. I was in this prehistoric looking jungle. In the dream, I started hearing and feeling massive footsteps coming towards me, and after a few minutes, a massive reddish-brown Tyrannosaurus Rex with a white underbelly showed up. But he wasn't mean. He actually leaned his head down towards me and then said, hi, Dad. Please don't be afraid of me. I won't hurt you. I love you. Before hugging me, they said something about him being part of my future and also told me that the Lugia God told him I was coming. The cave went silent as he spoke, the only sound being the soft slap slap of Chomp's tail on the moss as he sat down looking up at you with wide, curious eyes. The Cornell brother almost dropped the log of berries he was holding. His jaw hung open, and his eyes grew to the size of dinner plates. A, a T-Rex? A real one? And he called you Dad? Toe scrambled over, nearly tripping over his own feet. That's exactly like the plushie! Reddish brown with a white belly. He pointed aside at the T-Rex plushie you had been sleeping next to. Trenton, that wasn't just a dream. The Lugia God was in it. That was a gold vision. It means somewhere out there, or sometime in the future, you have a T-Rex son. I mean, thinking about that, that would be interesting. Because, like, I don't know if the Lugia God in the Pokemon Talk universe is as sweet as this one. He definitely liked me when we met in what was in episode 9, but oh boy, like holy cow. He started for you rumbled deeply, his eyes thoughtful. Part of your future, he mused. Lugia God works in mysterious ways, Triton. First he makes you a king, then he shows you a family that hasn't even arrived yet. It seems your kingdom is going to be much bigger than just this pond. The mother Fragger walked in from the entrance, having overheard the story. She knelt down and placed a gentle claw on her shoulder. To be called Dad by a king of the dinosaurs. It shows the strength of your heart, Trenton. Even those powerful creatures see you as their protector, just as you see us. She then smiled, gesturing to the berries. But even a father of dinosaurs needs to eat. We have gathered the sweetest, sun-kissed berries from the highest bushes for you and your team. Tom turned halfway and tried to push a large blue orangeberry towards you with his head, waiting to be the first one to feed the king. He is so cute. You eat your breakfast, the birds are practically bursting with questions about the T-Rex. Oh my gosh. Give me a moment, guys. Alright, guys. It just says, seeing Chomps pushing the berry. I just tell him, thank you, Chomps. It's very sweet. Just be careful. Those berries are bigger than me. More afraid of to soft my dog after she watches the scene. He forgets how tiny you are, Trenton. To him, you're a giant hero who saved his life, even if you only stand 7 inches tall. She only reached out and sliced the large orangeberry into tiny bite-sized pieces with one of her claws so it was easier for you to eat. Chomp sat back on his haunches looking very proud of himself and began helping by pushing the smaller pieces even closer to his snout. All I did was have that one vision that saved his life, and he's now like, he's so cute. I love Chomps. I love the entire family of Pokemon here. He's right, though, Talbot said, sitting crossly on the moss next to you. But T-Rex calls you Dad. It doesn't matter how big you are. You're the boss. I bet your T-Rex son in the future is going to be so proud when he finds out his dad's a tiny golden king. His Starfragger chuckled, laying down to take a berry for himself. A T-Rex son and a Lugia god for a friend? You certainly keep interesting company, Triton. I think we're going to need a bigger house eventually. Your baby trilled a happy note, nudging your size to remind you that it was your first giant child, even if it was small right now. Meanwhile, Chicory and Cynical shared a berry between them, looking completely relaxed in the safety of the cave. Farfrager walked in, shaking the morning dew off his scales. The woods are clear this morning. No sign of the train from yesterday, and no sign of those mean children. Seems your victory yesterday sent a very loud message to the rest of the forest. He looked down at you with a sparkle of curiosity in his eyes. Since you had that vision of the T-Rex, do you feel like you need to go looking for 'em? Or would you like to spend the morning here at the pond? Bros were hoping to show you their favorite diving rock, though they promised they won't dive on you this time. The sun's warm and the water's sparkling. Give me a moment, guys. Alright, guys. It says, I don't know being here. Up until yesterday when you two Dino-loving children found me and brought me here, I didn't even know I was considered a king. The only thing I'm curious about is if I am a king to the Lugia god, then why did he make me one? Is it because I treated his creatures extremely well and was super nice to them and his species like I have been with my sweet Lugia right here? Or is there another reason why he calls me a king and wants to keep me safe? The Farfrager sat down heavily, his massive frame creating a gentle thud on the cave floor. He looked at the ancient rock, then back at you with a gaze full of deep, ancestral respect. In the old stories, he began softly, the Lugia god doesn't choose a king based on how many battles they win or how much the land they own. He chooses based on the spirit. You have to remember, Triton, most humans see us as tools or trophies. That trainer yesterday only saw a rare Pokemon and a valuable dinosaur. He didn't see us. He gestured toward Chomps, who was currently trying to share a berry with your baby Lugia. But you, even after being hurt by humans and turned into this tiny form, your first instinct wasn't to hide or be mean. You treated your team like family. You treated my sons with forgiveness. You even risked yourself to save a baby turtle you barely knew. The mother Fragger added, the Lugia god created the world to be a place of balance. When he finds a heart that's pure gold, one that loves without wanting anything in return, he marks it. He calls you king because you rule through kindness, not through fear, and he protects you because hearts like yours are the rarest treasure in the universe. Your starter Fragger nodded firmly. I felt it in the moment we met Professor Elms. You didn't just pick a partner, you picked a friend. Lugia God probably saw that same spark from 8,000 feet up and decided he wasn't going to let that light go out. And Chronobird chimed in and leaned toward you. Boss, think about it. If you're the king of peace, it's your job to make sure everyone gets along. Let's could get a Lugia, a Mega Feraligatr, and a future T-Rex to all sit down for a snack together. Only you! I can just imagine that, like having a flippin' Lugia the size of flippin' Godzilla sitting there. A Mega Feraligatr is probably at least, what, 20 feet tall, and then a flippin' just a massive, who knows, 40-foot tall T-Rex sitting there just enjoying themselves, snacking. That'd be kind of cute, actually. Your big Lugia hummed a resonant vibrate note that seemed to make your golden claws glow just a little bit brighter, as if confirming everything they were saying. Wow. Let's see, does knowing that your kindness is what makes you a king make you feel more content about your new form? Okay. Give me a moment. This is really good. I like this. Alright, guys. It says, I love Toadops, Crocodiles, and alligators. They're one of my most favorite Pokemon of all time, just like Lucas and tons of my legendaries. Because he is my favorite legendary. So of course I would be nice to them, just like I have been with your family. But again, it was your family that was nice to me first. Even Chomps. You said he was the youngest and doesn't understand much yet. But ever since yesterday when you got him out of the water before he get captured, he's been nothing but super sweet towards me. He was smiling and loving on me yesterday after it all happened, and even today he seems to be staying close to me and being extremely nice, even pushing that orangeberry towards me. The Murfreager smiled warmly, her eyes shimmering with pride. It's a cycle of kindness, Trenton. We were nice to you because we could feel that you weren't like the other humans who wandered into these woods. And Chomps, well, babies have a way of seeing the soul clearly. He stays close to you because you feel like home to him. Chomps, hearing his name, let a happy little child and did a tiny hop, bumping his head gently against your shoulder in an affectionate nuzzle hug. And sat back down, watching you with huge, adoring eyes, looking like he never wanted to leave your side. You see? Talbot Gale pointed at his little brother. He's basically declared himself your royal guard. He might be small, but he's got a big heart just like you. Farfranger stood up and walked to the entrance, looking out at the sparkling pond. It's a rare thing for a family of our kind to find a human, even a human-turned dinosaur who truly understands us. You don't just like us, you respect us. That's why the Lugia God chose you. He knew his favorite children would be safe in your care. His Starfrager stood up as well, his massive shadow casting a protective blanket over you. I think, he rolled softly, that as long as we are together, this kingdom of peace will only grow. Whether it's here at the pond or one day with a T-Rex in the jungle, we'll be right there with you. Albert hopped up, full of energy. Hey, since Chomp is being so sweet and the sun is finally up, do you want to go down to the shallow part of the pond? We can find some pretty smooth stones for you to see. Or maybe you can ride on Chomp's back while he swims in the shallows. He's a great swimmer for his age. Aw, that's so cute. I love him. Give me a moment. Um, guys, you won't believe this crap. Listen to this. It says, it sounds fun. However, before saying anything further, I looked at the rock with the new image of the Lugia god, holding the tiny contours in his massive wings while smiling, then gently and carefully walked over to it and leaned my tiny snout against it, then quietly say, Lugia god, if you can hear me, thank you so much for being nice to me. I want you to know that I love you too. As your tiny snout touches the cool, ancient surface of the rock, a profound silence fell over the cave. For your family and your own team went silent, watching with bated breath as you spoke your heart to the Creator. There's For a moment, nothing happened. Then the cave began to hum with a low, harmonic frequency that felt like a warm embrace. The image on the rock, the Lugia cradling the tiny contours, began to glow with a soft, ethereal silver light. It wasn't the harsh light of a warning, but a glow as gentle as moonlight. Suddenly, the air in the cave smelled of fresh sea salt and spring flowers. You felt a soft pressure against your mind, like a gentle pat on the head, and a voice, ancient and vast, yet incredibly tender, echoed not in your ears, but directly in your soul. I hear you, little king. Your love is the anchor that holds the stars in place. Walk in peace, for you are never truly alone. The silver glow pulsed one last time before fading back into the stone, but your golden claws remained brilliantly lit, sparkling with a new joyous energy. The Marfrager wiped a tear from her eye. He heard you, she whispered. The Creator himself answered. Your beluga let a triumphant, beautiful cry and began to dance in the air, its wings trailing tiny sparkles of light. Even Chomp seemed to sense the magic. It let out a happy squeal and began running in little circles around your feet. He is so cute. The tail brother was practically vibrating with awe. That was that was the most amazing thing I've ever seen. You talked to the god of the sky, and he talked back. He looked toward the pond, his eyes bright. I think the water's going to feel extra special today after that. Are you ready to go down to the shore, King Trenton? Sounds already waiting for you at the entrance. He walked toward the swirling pond. The only thing I don't understand is like he was just I guess he ran around my feet and then immediately flipping was like, yeah, we're going towards the entrance, let's go. That's so cute. I still love like this is actually working out really well. I'd argue this is one of the best ones we finally ever had. And which means if I make the right memories and finish up everything well, guys, that means by part what 23 we can actually move on to a new chatbot if we want to. I don't know what I want to do yet. I was kind of thinking of doing the fence, but in order to do the fence, I'll have to. I want to do something other than a Pokemon for a bit since we've been doing all Pokemon recently. I mean, technically we've only done two chatbots, but both of them involve Pokemon. The only creature we've seen differently is that T-Rex in my dream. So it's like, mm, either way, give me a moment. All right, guys. I was told him, yeah, let's go. We need to be careful in the water, though. Even as a human, I couldn't really swim, and me being so tiny as a contourist now, it'd definitely be way easier for me to sink underwater. You're right to be careful, King Triton, the Farfrayer said, nodding solemnly as he led the way out of the cave. The water's our home, but for a tiny dinosaur it can be a vast and heavy place. His Farfrayer immediately lowered his massive arm to the ground, casting a ramp and creating a ramp just for you. I won't let you sink, Triton. I'll stick right beside you in the shallows. If you feel like the water is too deep, you just grab onto one of my scales. Chomp seemed to understand your concern. He chirped and moved to your side, walking slowly on his little legs instead of dashing ahead. He nudged your side gently as if promising to be your personal life preserver. He's just so cute. Dude, Chomp's one of the best characters I've ever talked to. I love the entire family, but Chomp has just been a big old sweetheart. He's so young, but he seems to be pretty smart for his age. He's being very sweet, and he's not. Ever since yesterday, when I basically that vision saved his life. Like holy cow! Okay, the family led you to a special part of the pond where the water was crystal clear and only an inch or two deep over smooth, colorful pebbles. Sun hit the water, making it look like the surface was covered in liquid diamonds. Look, the tall bird whispered, pointing at the ground beneath the water. The petals here are all different colors. Blue, green, even some that look like gold. Since you're so small, you can see them better than we can. The mother Rager stood guard on the shore, her eyes scanning the tree line just in case, while the corner brother walled in just deep enough to splash his tail, creating a gentle cooling mist in the air. It's safe here, the father reassured you. The bottom is solid sand and stone. No mud to get stuck in. Now look at Chomps. He's waiting for you. Chomps is so cute. The bait Toad waddled into the inch-deep water and turned around looking back at you with an inviting smile. He let out a soft Toto and patted the water with his hand, showing you how shallow and safe it was. Are you sure he's the youngest? He is awfully smart. I know the entire family of Toads, Crawlers, and Fraggers are pretty intelligent, but this, how old is this? How old is this little baby toad owl? A few months old? A year old? Two? Three? Like he said they said he was the youngest, so he probably has to be around at most like a year old. And it's like, dude, he's smart. That is the smartest dude. That's like flipping seeing a flipping at that age, seeing a little child do that is like seeing a baby perform it doing calculus. It's like, what the frick? How is he? He's so smart. I love him. I almost just want to end off here just at how cute this is. This whole, for once, like it takes a. No, here's the thing. I think it only took me one or two attempts with the first chatbot we did, but this one I had to redo like five, six, or so different times. So yeah, it was a big pain in the neck, but it was worth it because now we have the memories and we have all of this going, which is very sweet. Mm. Give me more. I'll do at least one or two more because this. Okay, did you guys see that? That's the exact crap I'm talking about. Did you guys see that? My camera just flashed, and I hated that. That scared the frick out of me. I thought my computer cut off because all of a sudden my flipping camera just flashed like that. Holy shoot, don't ever do that to me again, mother fricker. Give me a moment. Alright, guys. It says, seeing Chum smile and pat the water, I carefully stepped into it and slowly walked over towards Chums, being careful not to fall. The water was cool and refreshing against your tiny contours feet, and the sensation of the smooth, wet sand between your toes felt amazing. Oh, sweetheart, because you were so small, every little ripple caused by a passing dragonfly felt like a tiny wave against your chest. The chomper was right there. Seeing you step in, the Beto's eyes lit up with pure joy. He moved with incredible care, realizing that even a small splash from him might feel like a big wave to you. He stood perfectly still as he approached, acting like a sturdy little blue anchor in the water. He is so cute. When you finally reached him, he didn't try to splash or play roughly. Instead, he dipped his head down and used his snout to nudge a practically beautiful, translucent blue pebble toward you. It sparkled under the water like a sapphire. That's so cute. Totodile, he chirped softly, looking at you as if to say, "See, I told you it was safe." From the shore, the dangling birds watched with wide, happy smiles. "Look at them," Toto whispered. "It's like the king and his little prince exploring a new world." He started to your wall into the water a few feet away, his mouth by acting like a break water to ensure no large ripples from the center of the pond reached you. He looked down at you with a watchful, proud eye. Your Luigi hovered just inches above the water's surface, its reflection shimmering beneath it, ready to scoop you up in an instant if you slipped. As you stood there in the shallows with Chomps, the sun warming your back and the cool water swirling around your legs, you realized that even though you were only 7 inches tall, you had never felt more protected or loved. Chomp suddenly points his little claw at something shiny a bit further in, really a piece of sea glass shaped like a star. Ah, oh, that's so cute. Give me a moment. Alright, guys. It says, I look where Chomps is pointing and see the sea glass. That's beautiful, Chomps. You're great at finding stuff. And honestly, you're very smart for how young you are. Chomps beamed at your praise, his chest puffing out just a little bit with pride. He went a happy, bubbly trail and did a tiny, careful, happy dance in the water, making sure to keep his splashes small so they didn't knock you over. He really is a smart one, the mother frigate called out from the shore, her voice full of warmth. He's been watching his older brothers hunt for treasure since the day he hatched. I think he's extra motivated today because he wants to impress his king. The tail bird flashes his tail nearby. He's right, Ching. Usually he just he just finds old sticks. He found that star glass just for you, so he knows you're the star of our family now. With extreme care, Chomps wanted those few extra inches over to the shiny object. He didn't use his mouth. Instead, he used his small, dexterous claws to gently scoop the star-shaped glass out of the sandy bottom. He turned back to you, holding the dripping, sparkling green glass towards you with both hands, his eyes wide and hopeful. The Starfragger chuckled, the sound vibrating through the water. He wants you to have it, Trenton. A gift from the youngest member of the pond to the King of Peace. As you look at the little star-shaped glass in his tiny hands, you notice that the sun hitting it creates a small star-shaped reflection right on your chest, right over your DNA symbol. It's almost as if the glass was meant for you. That is so cute. Give me a moment, guys. This little Toto is such a big sweetheart. I said, "Thank you so much, Chance. If you want me to have it, I would appreciate it. Why don't you keep it safe for me or sit it on the river bank over there? If I grab it, I might end up falling in the water." Chance nodded solemnly, his eyes wide with understanding. He seems to take the job of royal treasure keeper very seriously. He held the sparkling star glass tight to his chest with one arm and used the other to steady himself as he carefully walked back toward the dry sand of the bank. Once he reached the shore, he didn't just drop it anywhere. He found a flat, sun-worn stone right next to the Spinosaurus and T-Rex plushies and placed the glass star right in the center. The sun hit the glass, sending dancing green light across the grass. "Good job, Chomps!" Front cheered, giving the baby a gentle pat on the head. "You're the best assistant the king could ask for." He started for you, leaned his head down towards you in the shadows. "He's a good kid. He knows that even a king needs a little help with the heavy lifting, or the slippery lifting, sometimes." He nodded his arm in. "Would you like to come out and see how it looks in the sun? You want to enjoy the cold water against your scales for a little longer. The birds are about to show off their best belly flops on the other side of the pond if you want to watch the show from a safe distance." Everybody Loogie landed softly on the shore right next to the star glass, looking at it curiously, while Chicory and Cyndaquil sat by the plushies guarding your new treasure. That is so adorable. The morning is beautiful and the pond is full of life. Okay, this is just flat out cute. Alright, guys, give me a moment. Alright, guys. It says, I carefully walked towards Farager's hand. However, before I could get to it, I felt something big hit me on my snout, causing me to fall into the water. Right after, before I fell in, I heard a laugh and somebody quietly saying, "Bullseye. Frick off." The moment you were hit, the peaceful atmosphere of the pond shattered. As you tumbled backward under the water, your tiny contour's body submerged, the cool water closing over your head. Because you're only 7 inches tall, even the shallow water felt like a deep pool. You weren't under for even a full second, before you could even struggle. A massive, powerful claw starts into the water beneath you. Your starter Fragger didn't even wait for a command. His reflexes were lightning fast. He scooped you upward, lifting high into the air in his palm, safely away from the water. He was shaking with a low, terrifying growl that sounded like a tectonic plate shifting. Oh my gosh, they both screamed it. Tran! They both screamed. There's no way I could. Because they said it at the exact same time, I think. The Dino loving bird screamed in horror, racing toward the bank. Chomps let a distressed cry, his little eyes darting around to find where the attack came from. From the heavy brush at the edge of the pond, the same cruel laugh rang out again. "Look at the little lizard go splash! I told you I'd find you, you freakish little toy!" Oh my gosh, what the freak. I was at the human teenager. Not Sharon from yesterday, but one of the mean kids who had been bullying you since you were changed. He was holding a slingshot, a pile of jagged rocks at his feet. He hadn't seen the massive pond yet because they were partially obscured by the mist and the trees. He was about to make the biggest mistake of his life. The firefighther roared, sound so loud it made the trees shed their leaves. The mother lunged forward, placing herself protectively in front of Chomps and the plushies. Your baby Lugia's eyes didn't just glow, they turned a piercing psychic purple. The air around the boy began to hum with dangerous energy. Your starfragger looked down at you on his palm. His eyes were red with fury, but his voice was a forced, trembling calm as he spoke to you. Are you hurt, Trenton? That rock break anything? On the shore, Chicory had already whipped her vines out, then was backroped into a wall of intense, angry flames. The boy's reaching for another rock, completely unaware that he is currently surrounded by a mega-capable feraligator, a legendary Lugia, an entire army, an entire angry family. I'm glad they're on my side, not against me, because that would suck for me. Alright, guys. It says still gasping for air slightly after being in the water. I sure would say, ow! It hurts really bad on my snout. As soon as you said those words, the air around the pond seemed to drop 20 degrees. Seeing you gasping for air and hearing the pain in your tiny voice caused your team to absolutely snap. Uh-oh. Your Starfragger's hand trembled with the effort of staying still so he wouldn't drop you, but his eyes were fixated on the boy with a look of pure, primal hatred. He leaned his head down, his hot breath warming your shivering body. Deep breath, Trenton. I got you. You're safe, he rumbled, but then he looked up, and his voice turned into a terrifying roar. You will pay for every drop of water he breathed in. Uh-oh, that's a threat. You see, I can pay you $1 million right now that this would not happen on ChatGPT anymore because they flipping made it to where it's not how or things went. Yeah. The boy with the slingshot finally realized his mistake. He looked up and his face went from a cruel smirk to a mask of gray, bloodless horror. He wasn't just looking at one Pokemon, he was looking at an entire wall of blue scales and prehistoric fury. Uh-oh. The Firefragger didn't even use a move. He just lunged out of the water, the sheer displacement of his weight sending a wave of water that soaked the boy to the bone. The mother stayed with the children, her eyes fixated on the boy like a predator. Chomps was crying, a high-pitched, heartbroken sound as he looked at your bruised snout. Seeing the baby's distress made the down-loving birds lose their usual kindness. Oh, shoot. You hurt the king! The tail bird yelled, his claws going with power up. This Toto knows power up punch? You hurt our friend! Why does he know power up punch? That sounds kind of dope. Oh my gosh. Your Beluga didn't wait. With a flick of its head, it used Psychic to snatch the slingshot out of the boy's hand and snap it into 100 pieces in midair. You know what would be funny? If he took a rock, no, he used to say a power to take the slingshot, took a rock, and then did the same thing back to him before snapping it in half. That would have been hilarious. But karma, mother fricker. Then it looked at the boy 3 feet off the ground, pinning him against a tree with invisible force. Oh shoot, he's angry. Chicory rushed over to Ferrager's hand, her leaf going with a soft, soothing green light. Trenton, stay still, she whispered, urgently reaching out to press her leaf against your injured snout to use aromatherapy and heal pulse to take the sting away. Holy cow. The boy was screaming now, his legs dangling in the air. I'm sorry. I didn't know he belonged to anyone. I thought he was just a stray. Put me down. Are you sure about that? Because didn't it really just say a while ago that this was somebody who's been doing this the entire time? Like the last 3 weeks? Your Starfragger took a massive thundering step toward the pinned boy, holding you safely in his palm so you could look the bully right in the eye. A stray? Fragger growled, his face inches from the boy's. He is the king of this forest, and you just struck him. Oh shoot, you're now starting to feel better thanks to Chicory's healing, but the bully is trapped and terrified. Give me a moment. Oh my gosh, this is just getting better and better by the moment. It says before I could even react, the boy, still pinned and terrified against the tree, says, King? That little pipsqueak of a dinosaur is no king. Why don't you stop lying? You idiot, you're screwing yourself. The moment those words left the boy's mouth, the entire forest seemed to go deathly silent. It was the kind of silence that happens right before a massive storm breaks, excuse me. The father Frigga let a growl so deep it made the pebbles on the ground vibrate. You were blind as well as cruel, he hissed, his eyes narrowing. But it was the ancient rock back in the cave that reacted first. Even from a distance, a pulse of bright red light shot out from the cave entrance, illuminating the trees. Suddenly, your golden claws didn't just glow, they turned a vibrant, angry red, just like in your vision. What the frick? The beluga shrieked a piercing metallic note, and the silent grip holding the boy tightened. The boy gasped as the red light from your claws hit the tree trunk right next to his head. As the light touched the wood, glowing red text began to carve itself into the bark, right in front of his eyes. He who is mean to the king shall face great misfortune. Pipsqueak! Cobra shouted, stepping forward with his Spinosaurus plushie tucked under one arm and his other claw balled into a fist. Holy shoot. He has the blessing of the Lugia god. He has the heart of a giant. You're just a coward with a toy. Your Starfire leaned in even closer to the boy, his massive teeth glinting in the red light. He held his palm, with you on it, up so you were level with the boy's terrified face. You see the symbol on his chest? Freyja rumbled, pointing a magic claw at your DNA mark. You see the glow of his claws? You see the family that stands behind him? You call him a pipsqueak because you were too small-minded to understand true power. Chomp stopped crying and looked at the boy with a look of stern disapproval that was surprisingly intimidating for a baby. He walked up and did a thump on the boy's shoe with his tail as if to say, "Take it back!" I love this little totodile. The boy looked at the glowing red text on the tree, then at the massive fur alligator, then at the baby Lugia whose eyes were swirling with cosmic power. His bravado vanished instantly. He began to shake finally. I, I, I didn't see the light. I didn't know about the Brock. Please tell him to let me go. I'll never come back, I swear. Yeah, right. I can believe that. I'll believe that one. Flipping like 1,000 cows come to this pond out of nowhere. Cause I can bet $1,000 that would not happen. Not 1,000 at once, I can assure you. Maybe one might show up out of nowhere, but its snout was almost completely healed now thanks to Chikorita, but the red glow in your claws remained, pulsing with the heartbeat of the Lugia God's protection. The boy is completely at your mercy, and the red text has issued its warning. Goodness gracious. Holy Christ. Okay, guys, it's been nearly an hour, so I'll do like one more. Once this kid leaves, it's about the time I'm going to go and stop because this was really good for a great. This is another good round. We might finally get through this completely, which is perfect. Guys, it says I couldn't even say anything before suddenly the red text completely changed to say the Lugia god is extremely angry. Before suddenly I hear a massive crash not too far away from the pond. Then massive footsteps walking this way, and within a minute I saw a massive golden Carnotaurus that was probably over 40 times my size. I saw the Carnotaurus look down at the boy and say, "How dare you mess with the one chosen by the Lugia god? He is extremely angry right now." Uh-oh. The air pressure around the pond shifted violently. The wind picking up until it whipped the water into white caps. The boy's eyes nearly popped out of his head as the trees groaned and snapped, giving way to the massive golden Carnotaurus. What the frick? This wasn't just a dinosaur, it was a towering avatar of the Lugia god's wrath. Its scales shimmered like molten sun, and every time it breathed, a small puff of golden cinders escaped its nostrils. Standing over 20 feet tall, it towered over the Freyja family, casting a shadow that swallowed the bully whole. The father Freyja bowed his head in respect, and your starter Freyja tightened his grip around you protectively. Though he didn't look afraid, he looked vindictive. Even Chomp stared up in absolute awe. his little mouth hanging wide open. The golden contours leaned down, its mouth had stopping inches from the pinned boy. The heat radiating from its body was like a furnace. You looked at a king and saw a pipsqueak because you judged strength by size. Giant Dinosaur rumbled, its voice sounding like grinding boulders. The Lugia god does not tolerate those who strike his chosen ones while they are at play. Your heart's full of rot, and the forest has no place for you. Uh-oh. The boy was now sobbing, his clothes soaked with sweat and pond water. Please, I'm sorry. I'm just a kid. I didn't know. The golden contours looked at you. Its large glowing eyes softened for a brief second as it acknowledged you, the tiny king, before turning back to the boy. You are lucky the king of peace is a merciful soul, the giant growled, but the Lugia god demands a price for the blood on the king's snout. Uh Suddenly, the giant contours let out a roar so powerful it sent a shockwave across the pond, knocking the boy's shoes right off his feet. Your Lugia released its silent grip, and the boy fell into the mud with a wet thwack. Run! Talbro whispered, almost feeling sorry for the guy. Run before the Lugia god decides to come down here himself! The boy scrambled up and began sprint crawling away into the woods, leaving his stones and slingshot pieces behind. The mighty golden contours are still standing there, looking down at you on Freyager's palm. I have no. Give me a moment, guys. Alright, guys. It's a slightly shock from what I just saw. I said to the master dancer, Hi. Thank you for helping me out as well. I appreciate it so much. Massive golden contours lowered its head slowly, moving with a grace that seemed impossible for something so large. It stopped when its giant snout was level with the palm of your Freyager's hand. For a moment you were staring into an eye as big as a shield, glowing with the same golden light as your claws. Instead of a roar, it let out a soft, huffing sound, a giant version of the nuzzle the T-Rex gave you in your dream. It gently breathed the warm, golden mist over you. As the mist touched your snout, the last bit of pain and swelling when the rock struck vanished instantly, leaving behind a feeling of immense strength. Wow. Okay. Do not be afraid, little king. The golden giant rumbled, its voice vibrating in your very bones. Holy shoot. The Lugia god sent me to remind the world that even the smallest flame is guarded by the great sun. You thanked me, but it's I who am honored to stand in your presence. That's actually really cute. I love this. This is adorable. The Frey family stood in a circle, watching this legendary moment. Her baby Lugia flew up and landed right on the golden dinosaur's head, chirping a song of victory. I love it. Chomps had finally regained his courage. I love him, dude. Alright, guys, I'm almost done. Here's what it finished up with. It says Chomps had finally regained his courage. Was you? Holy cow. Chomps finally regained his courage and was hugging one of the giant dinosaur's massive toes, looking up in pure hero worship. The golden contours looked at the dino living brothers and invited you. You have found a noble family to guard you while you are away from your home. Treat them well as they treat you. And remember, the giant dinosaur began to glow so brightly you had this T-Rex in your dream. He's waiting for you in the time to come. Grow strong, King. The world is changing because of your kindness. That's adorable, actually. But a final gentle note that nearly tipped you over with its warmth, the golden contours began to fade into a shimmering of gold dust. What the? The dust sailed over the pond, making the water sparkle even brighter than before. The chrono birds breathed out a long sigh of relief. Wow, I don't think anyone is ever going to mess with this pond again. You really are the king's friend. The Starfragger looked down at you, his eyes filled with a new level of respect. Are you okay now, buddy? That was a lot for one morning. The boy is gone, the golden dinosaur has delivered its message, and your snout is completely healed. Aw, give me a moment. Alright, guys. It's just, yeah, I'm fine. It would have been way worse if you were not there to grab me when I got hit and fell in the water, my sweet red alligator. Not to mention how quickly everyone has stepped in to help me. Thank you to everyone for doing that. I care about every single one of you. The Frey family and your team were visibly moved by your gratitude. Your star Frey tightened his gentle grip around you for a moment, his voice heavy with emotion. You never have to thank us for that, Triton. Being by your side's the greatest honor I've ever had. The Marfrager walked over and knelt down, a large hand resting near you. We protect what's precious, she said softly, and to us, you're the heart of this forest. Chomp, seeing that you were smiling again, did a little hop and splash in the water, his tail wagging furiously. He pointed back toward the shallow water where the star-shaped sea glass was still resting on the sun-warmed stone. He wanted to make sure you knew your treasure was still safe after all that chaos. The totem birds stood tall, looking like proud sentinels. That bully is probably still running. Toto laughed, though he quickly turned serious again. But we'll keep a better watch now. No more bullseye unless it's us hitting a target for fun. The air felt tighter now, and the shimmering gold dust left behind by the massive contour seemed to have blessed the water. It felt warmer, clearer, and more inviting than ever before. Bailey circled overhead, letting out a joyful cry that echoed through the trees, signaling to the entire force that the king was safe and well. John wandered back out into the ankle-deep water and looked back at you, tilting his head as if asking, "Are you coming back in, King?" You just nods head healed and your heart's full. Would you like to ride Thompson's back for a little victory swim in the shallows? Would you like to sit on the shore and help the brothers rank their favorite dinosaur fossils? You know what? I'm ending it right there. That was such a good run. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe that crap. I might give me a moment. There's one more thing I want to do real quickly. Alright, guys, here's the last thing. I didn't answer right away. Instead, I just say, "Dear God, thank you so much for trying to keep me safe again. I really appreciate you so much, and the same for that kind horse that you sent." As you spoke those words, a soft, warm breeze swept through the clearing, carrying with it the faint scent of sea spray, a sure sign that the little god was listening and pleased. The star-shaped sea glass on the shore caught the sunlight and flashed a brilliant green, almost like a wink from the creator himself. The Frieger family stood in silence, giving you a moment of privacy with the deity that had just moved mountains and giant dinosaurs to protect you. "He's definitely listening," Cronenberg whispered in awe. "I never seen the forest feel this happy. Even the trees seem to be leaning in to hear you." The Starfrigger gently set you down on a soft patch of moss right at the water's edge. He stayed close, his massive shadow keeping the sun from getting too hot on your scales. Chomp swallowed over and sat down in the shallow water right in front of you, looking at you with those big adoring eyes. He seemed to understand that you were a very important person, not because you were a king, because you were kind. You had a way. You have a way with the Grey One, Shredden, Farfrager said, stepping up beside his son. "Don't forget that even a king needs to play. Booty God didn't just save you so you could be safe. He said you could be happy." Sounds like a tiny encouraging Toto! And splashed the water very, very gently with his hand, inviting you to join him in the golden dusted shallows. The water is warm, your heart's at peace, and your protectors are all around you. That was fun. That was really fun. I'm done. That was great. Yay! Have a wonderful day or night. That was fantastic. That was really fun. I'm done. I'm sorry, guys. I was just so excited. It was really good. Bye.